Welcome back to another episode on the MLD Balls page. In today's episode, we're going to be reacting to Karl Anthony Towns getting traded for Julius Randle. We got a blockbuster. All right, man. So, like I said, we got a blockbuster trade happening in the NBA. We got two All Stars getting moved for one another, and somebody who just came off of one of the greatest individual shooting seasons of all time. So, hey, this is a cool trade. Finally, get something going on. The NBA is coming back very, very soon. Training camp is coming back, and these teams want to make sure that their locker room is exactly how they want it to be for the regular season and going into the playoffs. And this is very big things going on because these are two of the teams in their respective conferences that are looked at as contenders. The Wolves just made the conference finals, and they added a playmaking scorer that is going to be able to create spacing for them by being a passer. Julius Randle is a better passer than Karl Anthony Towns. He creates downhill opportunities, and Karl Anthony Towns, yeah, he's capable of doing that, but on the Timberwolves, he kind of relegated himself to being a play finisher. And Julius Randle, he's going to be somebody that creates plays for Anthony Edwards. At the end of the games in the Mavericks series, a problem that the Timberwolves were having is that Anthony Edwards isn't a generational playmaker. And he's a shooting guard, so there's no problem with him not being a generational playmaker. Julius Randle, he's a point forward. At the point forward position, he's a good playmaker. And he's going to be able to be somebody that, bends the defense a little bit for Edwards and creates advantages for him while he doesn't have the ball in his hands. And he's a more versatile defender than Karl Anthony Towns. Against the Dallas Mavericks, another problem that they had was Luka Doncic. Jaden McDaniels, he's too skinny and small to guard someone of Luka Doncic's caliber. But Julius Randle, yes, he's not as good of a defender as a Jaden McDaniels, but he is very physical. And when Luka does his little things in like the post area, like Julius Randle is going to be able to, slow that down more than the Jaden McDaniels would, just because, Luka would just body him. And now you could ask McDaniels to play to his strengths more. And, because McDaniels was kind of like doing all that because he was helping out Cat. But now McDaniels could go and help out Edwards on defense a little more. And those two on defense are two positive defenders. And Randle, he's going to be more of a positive defender for the Wolves than Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's capable shooter. He's not as good of a shooter. Not yeah. Cat is one of the best shooters of all time at his size. But Randall, he can shoot. He can give you 34%, 33% from three. If he gives you 35%, that's a real good season out of him. That's something I would bet on. But 34, 33, hopefully he can just do that. And that's what we're expecting out of him because he's always played next to a traditional five in his career. It's not something that's gonna be like a question. Like, how is Julius Randle gonna play next to a Rudy Gobert? Because he's always played next to a Rudy Gobert, and his days with the Pelicans, where Coach Finch was a part of that staff, he had Anthony Davis on that team, and it seemed like Coach Finch, he messed with how Julius Randle played for him on NOLA. Like, that's just what it seems like. What I would ask out of Julius Randle, if I'm a coach, if I'm Randle, is just be play off of Anthony Edwards, and whenever you're not playing off of Anthony Edwards, just be the hustle guy. Let Rudy Gobert play the defense. Let Jaden McDaniels play defense, even Anthony Edwards. But whenever they need a body, that's what you are. Like, he's a body. You know what I mean? He's a big body. So like when he's gonna be guarding Luka, he's gonna be able to do pretty well against him. And it's not just Luka, because let's like look at the Western Conference, because there's a lot of teams that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to have to match up against. It's not just them. Against the Thunder, they're going to have Chet at the four at times now. So Randall's a better rebounder than a Chet, and yeah, Cat could have handled Chet. I understand that, but Aaron Gordon, Julius Randle's a better matchup for that. KD, Julius Randle is a better matchup for that. Zion, Julius Randle is a better matchup. DeMar DeRozan, Julius, Julius Randle is a better matchup against a lot of Western Conference opponents. But I'll say this: Karl Anthony Towns, shout out to him, one of the greatest Wolves of all time. But I don't think this move is as much as people are making it out to be, like the Wolves just buying out of this franchise because they don't want to pay the luxury tax. I think the Wolves got better because, like, I'm telling you, everything that Julius Randle provides to this team, they also added one of the best like plug and play players in the NBA right now. Dante DiVincenzo, he's a small wing. He's gonna be asked to play shooting guard. Maybe you play a little bit of Anthony Edwards at small forward minutes, maybe like just like 20% of the time, 15%. Not a lot of time, but whenever Anthony Edwards is on the bench, you play Dante DiVincenzo at shooting guard. And whenever they do play with each other, you make sure to have a defensive unit around that, and just have a shooter next to Anthony Edwards and ask him to be a primary ball handler at the moment. Um, this team, man, this Timberwolves team, their bench is super deep, man. Cause let's look at this roster. They got Mike Conley at the 1, Anthony Edwards at the 2, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Like, this lineup is the exact same, but you just swap out Randle for Cat. Yeah, it just adds a playmaking score and less 3-point shooting. So yeah, that's the question about the Wolves. Like, where's this 3-point shooting gonna come from, right? Then you look at the bench. Everyone is a sniper. Nas Reed is a center who snipes. Dante DiVincenzo, sniper. Nickeil Alexander Walker shot 39% from 3 last year, sniper. Joe Ingles, sniper. Terrence Shannon, if you don't know him, let me tell you about him, sniper. Robert Dillingham, if you don't know about him, let me tell you about him, sniper. You feel me? Like, everybody on this Wolves bench is a sniper. And like, they're gonna have guys who just come in the game and snipe the same way that the Celtics do. The Celtics, they have their Celtics starting 5 is like also snipers, so it's like a different example, but the bench, the same. Snipers off the bench, and Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and you just plug and play the bench guys throughout games, and they're always going to be effective around these guys because everyone in their starting lineup needs spacing. So no matter what, their bench is always going to help this team. And yeah, I like what the Timberwolves did a lot. A lot of people talking about the Wolves like this team ain't just get better. To me, this team just got scary, and they're not the only team that got scary because look, the New York Knicks themselves, they added Cat, who might be the best player in this deal. Like, I talked about all the things that Julius Randle provides to the Knicks or to the Timberwolves. It's because, like I said, he's an all-star caliber player. But Karl Anthony Towns, I think when the New York Knicks are healthy, he's going to be playing power forward, or that's what I kind of want out of them. I think Mikal Bridges is a specialist in the NBA. I think Mikal Bridges is the best small guard defender. Like, him and Jaden McDaniels actually are two players that I look similarly as. Mikal is a better offensive player, and Jaden McDaniels is slightly more of a versatile defender. But Mikal Bridges, I trust him guarding Stephen Curry. I trust him guarding De'Aaron Fox. I trust him guarding Damian Lillard. But I don't trust him on like Luka Doncic and LeBron James. He against like big playmaking forwards, he's just not as big as a OG Anunoby, who fits perfectly next to Mikal Bridges. And OG Anunoby could be the guy who Mikal takes the best small guard on the court, and OG takes the best player on the court, and Mitchell Robinson takes the best big man on the court. While you have Cat be a big body, and you hide Jalen Brunson, and then on offense, oof, oof. Cat, the amount of spacing that he just provides, because Julius Randle, he wasn't there. Like, he just straight up hasn't been there. He's been hurt, Karl Anthony Towns, if you just add him to this Knicks roster from last year, just healthy, like, or he wasn't 100%. And that's the thing about it. Karl Anthony Towns had his first, like, decent year in the playoffs, and he's getting to that point of his career where he's gonna be he hitting his peak soon. You know, Karl Anthony Towns like he's at what age 28, is 27 around there. Like they're gonna get a peak Karl Anthony Towns, and you know he's gonna be getting paid like it too. He's gonna be getting paid like it, of course, because he has one of the biggest contracts in the NBA, and that's one of the scary things about him. But he's a 28-year-old, and you're gonna have him for the rest of his prime. At least you're gonna have him for the rest of his prime. Greatest shooting 7-footer of all time conversations if you know the New York Knicks go on a playoff run with him, because like I said, he is that good of a shooter if he does it in playoffs. And the New York Knicks had a lot of wings. They had a McBride, not McBride. They had Josh Hart, Dante. They have Mikael. They have OG. They drafted a Diet, who I like, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. But a lot of guys that would have been battling for minutes with Dante DiVincenzo, and they have a big need at the power forward center position. And Karl Anthony Towns could play both, you know, and that makes sense to me. It's a good trade for them. Um, Similar to Randle being with his former coach in Finch, we have Karl Anthony Towns with his former coach in Thibs. So maybe, you know, both coaches liked their players that they formerly coached, and they both see that both of these guys are playoff chokers in Randall and Karl Anthony Towns at this point of their careers. In the scenarios that both of them are put in now, they are in a better place to succeed, because Randall's problem is he likes to play make a lot, and Brunson is one of the best playmakers in the league. Edwards' problem is that he needed a little bit of help, a little bit of a boost at the playmaking department and scoring. He's just a guy to throw grenades at end of games, and Julius Randle could throw grenades, and some of them are going to go in. You know, like you need that on your team. And Jalen Brunson, he is going to be the grenade guy also. Like Jalen Brunson is one of the best playmakers, one of the best grenade guys, and Karl Anthony Towns is going to allow him to have more space to operate in. And Karl Anthony Towns is going to be playing next to one of the best playmakers he's ever been to. You know, Jalen Brunson to me is one of the best playmakers in the league. Yeah, this is going to be the best playmaker Karl Anthony Towns ever has played next to. So that's going to help him a lot, and he's going to look better in the post, in my opinion. I think there's going to be times where the Knicks go to him for scoring. So Karl Anthony Towns is going to be able to do that. Jalen Brunson taking that pay cut, man. Holy, shout out to Brunson, because Karl Anthony Towns, if you could use him in the second unit as a hub, that would be so cool for the Knicks. I don't know if Thibs is capable of that. Like in the minutes that Brunson is sitting, and just using them together that would be crazy if the Knicks were capable of that. But Mitchell Robinson is gonna be able to just be able to man the middle, because Karl Anthony Towns will allow him to do that. And yeah, I like this move a lot for the Knicks. Um, well, what are their ceiling of both of these teams? I don't know. I think the ceiling for the Timberwolves is higher. I like it more for the Wolves, to be honest, for next season. But in the future, I like it more for the Knicks. Um, this season coming up, I don't think any of these teams win the championship. If one of them do, I'd go with the Wolves. I don't know what my predictions are yet for the season. The Diet, he plays similar to like Bridges OG, so he could get some minutes. We'll see what they do with that. But I wonder, am I right about this lineup? Is Karl Anthony Towns going to be asked to play center instead, and you have Josh Hart play a four? Because if that happens, my whole opinion on this trade changes, and I don't like it. But if Karl Anthony Towns is here to play the four next to Mitchell Robinson, that's cool. And yeah, shout out to anybody who's listening. 14 minutes in, so if you stayed up to this point, most likely you enjoyed what I had to say. So make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. About to hit 250 subscribers. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a nice day, and God bless.